kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQP, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Thursday, ready for some UFC 329 action happening this weekend. The return of Conor McGregor. And if you're a McGregor fan, you're happy as hell. If you're an MMA fan, you're probably pretty happy. And if you're not a McGregor fan, you're probably still kind of happy. The only reason why I say that is because everyone's talking about it. Everyone's going to watch it. Everyone is interested to see how he does. And he's fighting a great opponent in Max Holloway, who has been beat by Conor before, way back in the day when Conor was first starting. And Holloway's done a lot since that time. He's been, champion. He defended multiple times. He's been a BMF title holder. He's done a lot of crazy shit. He owns all kinds of records, and he's just an all-around certified badass. But we know what Conor McGregor is capable of. We've seen what he can do. Mystic Mac back in the day was, undefeated with those predictions. He said what he was going to do, and he came out and did it. And that's what we're wondering is, is that going to happen again? Is that going to be something that he's able to do again? But no one knows. No one knows, because it's been like 5 years since Conor's fought. And with all that being said, with all the outside legal shit that, is what it is. We've talked about that plenty of times while it was going on. But yo, what's going on, Antoine? Hectic day today, man, but we're here and we're doing the damn thing. So, but yeah, with Conor, crazy outside stuff, and the injuries. He had the broken leg, tried to come back, breaks his toe, first time he's ever pulling out of a fight, all that crazy shit. So yeah, man, so much stuff going on when it comes to Conor, and Max has just been here fighting. Hasn't looked the best the past couple fights. He got knocked out by Topuria, got dominated by Oliveira in a BMF title match that wasn't much of a BMF title match. It was a dominant fight, and I give all the credit to Charles Oliveira, but we know what happened there. So that's tough. And unfortunately, that's where we're at with Max. So hopefully he's ready to go with this fight, because I am a Max fan. I've been up and down and back and forth with Conor so many times between the things that he does. He's grown on me a lot more than he used to. I didn't feel great about him back in the day. He was beating all the guys I liked. And then one of my favorite fighters of all time, Nate Diaz, got the win over him, gave him that big loss. And just a crazy career for Conor. But I never downplay his contributions to the sport, right? Because everything that he's done, the superstardom that he's had, the way that he came about, getting to that position in his career, everything that he's done, first double champ, first Irish champion, all the records he holds, fastest knockout in the featherweight division, all that shit, craziness. First guy to beat Jose Aldo like he did, 6 seconds in, knocks him out, takes the title, double champ, craziness, man. Lots of stuff that Conor's done. Both these guys full of accolades. So it should be exciting. Here's the bad part right now. I don't know why, but they decided to do the press conference right now. So let's turn this into somewhat of a watch party. And I'm going to kind of be listening into this press conference. Talent-wise, is he like top 10 of all time great to you? I have to give him somewhere in there, yeah, for sure. But yeah, the press conference, and with Paddy Pimblett being there, with Conor being there, it was probably because of Hall of Fame. Oh yeah, I know, I saw that. Yeah, I was kind of annoyed. I was like, are they not going to have a presser, or is it going to be later? I was hoping it'd be like at the end of the show. Excuse me, got the hiccups. But yeah. But I figured, if nothing else, I'm stuffing the joint for the press. Nice. yeah, so whatever. We'll just watch it together and we'll see what kind of shenanigans and antics that Conor McGregor will be up to. We'll see if Patty Pimlet's feeling like talking some shit. And Max Holloway was going back and forth with Conor in that call that he was on between him and Conor with Joe Rogan in the middle. So you never know. You never know what we're gonna get. So I'm gonna turn the volume up a little bit for me, and it looks like it's just going to be the co-main and main event on the stage because they brought out Patty, they brought out BSD, and now Max is coming out. So next is Conor, and that's it. So they want to focus on the guys that are at the top of the card, and I guess I understand that. But before we get too much further, let me give a shout out to my sponsor and take a nice big whiff and get ready for this press conference with some Noctane smelling salts. You're going to see these a lot this weekend when I do the watch party, because we will be doing the watch party for UFC 329. Conor McGregor's walking out to the stage right now, doing his little strut in his nice suit. And let's take a big whiff of this Noctane smelling salts before we get too far into this. Here we go. Woo! Oh my God. That was a good one. This is the most potent bottle. You can learn all about it by scanning that QR code on the screen. There's a link in the description below of all my videos. You can go check it out. They have a great website, and it's a great product. So thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. And Conor's on the stage. They're already asking a question quickly. So here's the thing. They made Conor belts for being a double champ. They made 2 belts for him, and they have the Irish flag on them. As we've seen with the Mexican one, that the interim title that who am I thinking of? Why am I spacing? Holy shit. So early, I was late. Yeah, Xavier was in here early, and then he jumps in after. It's all good. The press conference is happening right now. I have it playing in the background for myself because I'm kind of interested to see what kind of stuff Conor's going to say. But anyway, Alexa Grasso got one of those belts. Max's shirt is interesting. Looks like he has a lei on it. Max Holloway's getting booed. That's interesting. Anyway, if you see, we got the new little scroller on the screen. Take a look at that at the bottom of the screen. If you've been here before, you've never seen it because it's brand new. I'm saying Max all the way, but Conor is confident. Yeah, it's hard to tell. They're talking shit already. Max is saying how he touched him in the last fight and then he dropped him with a head kick. I've never been to Hawaii, no. But I'm going for Max for sure. But I'm interested to see how Conor comes out after all the injuries, the long layoff, all the extra stuff going on. It's he seems reinvigorated. He seems like somewhat of the Conor of old. And he basically is a combination of the Conor from before and the new man, the new spiritual man, the new family man, the new man that wants to take care of himself and not be partying all the time and losing himself in all of the debauchery. So he says. So that's what the interesting part about this is. I've seen him get back to being, definitely, he looks like he wants to be there. Yeah, it's different than the last time we saw Conor. That's for sure. He doesn't have, I heard Brendan Schaub say this earlier, and it was a good point. He doesn't have that nastiness to him. He's not just being a prick. He's not just talking mad shit in the most hurtful way. He's talking shit, speaking his facts and his truth, and saying what he's done in the past and what he's capable of doing before or doing again. So he believes. And with that being said, he's still as confident, it seems, but maybe not overly confident where he's out of control, doing disrespectful things. It's like he's matured a bit, but he still has a bit of that hunger in him to talk the shit, right? You can tell he's truly sober now. He does seem way more present. BSD and Conor are both dressed in suits, and then you got Patty and Max kind of dressed down and comfortably, seems like. But I know this isn't our normal show, but I am curious to see what's going to happen. Maybe I'll just keep talking until something really goes on. BSD, he's not big on the mic. I will say that he's not big on the mic. English second language for him. Patty just has a thick accent, but he's a Scouser, and it's actually entertaining to hear him talk. And then Max, I mean, Max is just Max has a natural tone or way of speaking himself. And then Conor has the accent as well. So it's definitely interesting. And watching Conor throughout the week, catching up with all the things that he's done, interviews, everything points to the fact that he's very, very locked in. He's definitely back to being the notorious one to a certain extent. Conor's interview with Nina Drama was good. It actually was. Sometimes Nina's interviews get on my nerves a little bit because it's almost like she's trying too hard, or even the person that she's interviewing is trying too hard. See, it's so cool to see his entire family there. Motherfucker has 4 kids. This shit's crazy. But I mean, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, sometimes Nina just goes a little bit crazy with it. But yeah, for the most part, I enjoy most of her stuff, and she definitely did a good one with Conor. For Conor to sit down and do that too was pretty awesome. And he was into it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was locked in, he was in tune with everything going on. Like, he talked about Sean O'Malley's recreation of his video, and he laughed his ass off, like genuinely laughed hard about Sean saying that he was a funny motherfucker, and that basically he enjoyed the shit out of it, and that he enjoys Sean O'Malley in general, which is pretty cool considering Sean kind of takes some shots here and there with the whole sniffing off the counter type shit and all that. But when it comes down to it, he understands where it's coming from. There's definitely something interesting about this fight, and the most interesting thing, if you're just joining in, by the way, I'm watching the presser as well, so I'm trying to tune in and out of that. But both these guys kind of have something at stake here. Like, Conor is on the second to the last fight of his contract. If he gets smoked, I don't know how much value the UFC is going to see in putting it back into him, as in restructuring his contract or extending. Like, maybe they see him as washed. I don't know, but he's still a star, as we can see just by the presence of fans, the presence of eyes in social media, and everything else revolving around the fights, and the talks going on throughout the entire MMA world about Conor McGregor making his comeback. So many people have just completely written him off in the way that, oh, he's not even going to show up, including somebody who's in here all the time, Mr. Josh. But he'll be here Saturday too, by the way. But yeah, he definitely wrote him off and said, I won't believe it until I see him walk in that cage. I bet he would still say that right now watching this press conference. If I called him or text him right now, I bet you he would still say, I won't believe it until he walks in that cage. Because the last time I tried to argue the point with him, he said, even if he's walking up to the cage, until he walks in it, I'm not going to believe it. So, and I get it, because I felt the same way a while back. But, this one felt different. This one felt legit. It felt to me like he took Chandler differently as an opponent as he does Max. Now he's calling Holloway evil. Holloway just eats it up, man. Right? But I feel like as much Max has done, he really needs this run back. Yeah, so the other side of that is Max Holloway, who is on a 2-fight losing streak because he lost to Ilya Topuria for the title. He got knocked out for the first time. And then he lost to BMF. Well, no, it's not 2 in a row, right? No, it's not 2 in a row. Why do I keep saying that? Let me look, because it's not 2 in a row. He lost his last fight. Yeah, he had the Dustin Poirier fight in between. So I got to stop saying 2 in a row. But I was thinking that for some reason. 2 out of his last 3 he's lost. You know, it's tough when you get to that point, especially when you hadn't been losing a bunch before. You know, he had the little streak with Volkanovski. So it's Max needs to get a win, and to get a win over Conor, regardless of the timeout, regardless of the injuries, he gets a win over Conor, and that's going to catapult him even further than he's already been. So, but you know, it has to be a clean win, because if it's not a clean win, then everyone's going to doubt what Max can do. Everyone's going to make excuses for Conor. So we'll see. Do you think Conor gets a lightweight title shot if he wins this welterweight bout? No, I don't think he does. And maybe he gets offered it, but I don't think he takes it. So maybe he does get a title shot. Maybe he gets it offered to him, but he's expressed quite a few times in a lot of stuff that I've seen this week that it seems to me like he has no interest in moving back down in weight. See, there goes Dana again, because they said, you know, how does this Conor fight week feel like compared to the ones in the past? And he's like, biggest gate ever. Of course, the tickets are about 4 times the price than they used to be. It's always going to be a bigger gate as long as you keep raising those prices. Drop the prices in the tickets, sell that bitch out, and tell me that you're going to have the biggest gate ever. You might actually have a legitimate sellout. I think they're selling out, right? But the fucking ticket prices keep going up. And when you have to put in about, you know, fucking half a year's worth, if not an entire year's worth of rent to go to one fight for one night on top of, and that's only for your ticket. You got to think about the concessions. You got to think about buying drinks. You got to think about transportation. You got to think about going there, flying, driving, whatever you're doing, all that money. You're giving up a lot of money to go see one of these fights. It's crazy, especially a big fight like this. Come on, man. Biggest gate ever. Every single event is going to be your biggest gate ever when those prices keep getting hiked up. I'm sorry to say it, but it's the fucking truth. And I've said that in the past, and I'll continue to say that, because show me how you're going to stop breaking that record by lowering the prices, because why does the record mean anything when you just continuously break it every single time? Because every time Dana's asked about it, he says record-breaking gate. Why is it record-breaking? Because the tickets cost more than they did last time. That's fucking why. So what are we doing here? But anyway, I started on the scroller down at the bottom. Look at it, read it. Don't pay attention to it. It's all good, whatever. Conor's now singing. Holy shit. He sounds like a drunk uncle. He's singing Wonderwall. That's hilarious.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Now he's yelling at Patty. Holy shit. They're having fun. I'll say that. They're having fun. Anyway, the scroller at the bottom, if you read it, I put preview and breakdown happening now. We're about to get to it. Just checking out this press conference at the moment. I can't talk either. Also, about the Watch Party podcast happening live on Saturday for the main card. I got guests in the room. It's going to be a full house. Clark and Josh will be here, and we'll have a new guy that hasn't been here before, but a really good friend of mine, and he should be here on Saturday as well. So we'll have 4 of us in here watching and reacting live to the main card of UFC 329, and that should be a fun one, man. 5 fights, no title fights, but we got a 5-round main event between Conor McGregor and Max Holloway, 2 former champions. And then we got Benoit Saint Denis versus Paddy Pimblett in the co-main event. Pretty big fight there. Paddy coming off the loss to Justin Gaethje, which, you know, got Justin Gaethje that title fight, which now he's the damn champ. So that's awesome. But yeah, we're definitely doing the watch party. And here's a little promo for it. Just quickly. Live stream, UFC 329 watch party. McGregor versus Holloway. If you follow me on social media at all, you're going to see this posted tomorrow. But you guys got it first. Yeah, man, Xavier, come in, check it out, talk to us on the in the chat as usual. And you know, the broadcast is fun sometimes, but not always. It gets a little boring, a little repetitive. You got to listen to the ads, you got to take the breaks. And while that's happening, we're going to be in here live, having a good time, having some drinks. Oh shit, I just completely messed it up. Hold on. There we go. But yeah, we're gonna be having drinks, talking shit, having fun in here. So it'll be cool. And if you haven't seen the watch parties before, they're fun. I do usually have full screen because I have 4 people in here, but we're gonna try out this layout that I have going on right now. It's gonna be like this, a tad bit different, but pretty much this layout, because I figure, you know, who gives a shit about the, you know, having us all like as completely big on the screen as possible. I like having the extra boxes. You know, we can put the matchups up in the corner like I do for the solo watch parties, and then the chat will be in its own box on the screen, because otherwise it's just as an overlay, you know, on top of stuff that's in front of us, and it's hard to read sometimes. So we're gonna keep this style going. We'll have the ticker at the bottom. I'll be posting what fight is up next. I'm gonna try to remember to change it. It's gonna be my first time, so I'm not gonna promise, but I'm going to try to change it throughout the time that the fights are on, with the outcome of the previous fight, what the next fight is, and any other info that we get in between there. So should be fun. That's why I put this little ticker at the bottom. I figured for this main scene where we're just talking in the beginning, I will have it going. The rest of the time it'll be gone until the end again. And then for the watch party, it'll be down there the whole time because I'll be updating information on it. So hopefully you guys like that. It's a cool little extra thing I decided to try out. And so far I like it, and we'll see, you know, if it brings attention. It also says don't forget to like the video while you're here. So please do that as well. If you're here watching, hit that like button. Otherwise, if you're watching later on, do that too. I like it. Gives you a dope Sports Center vibe. Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, not as fancy, but you know what? I like it. I don't want it to stand out too much and take too much away from everything else, but I assume a lot of people are probably watching this press conference right now, so this is like the worst time for me to be doing the pod, but that's why if I give it... Hold on. Conor's getting heated. And then he goes right back to laughing. They're talking about their fight from 2013. I'm pretty sure both these guys are completely different human beings since 2013. But it's an interesting twist to the entire event, to the fight itself, because when it comes down to it, Conor, like I said, has been through a lot since 2013, becoming double champ, fighting Mayweather, becoming a billionaire, multiple businesses. And Max Holloway's had a career of himself, becoming a champion, multiple time defending champion. He's had some bad luck trying to, you know, get over the hump of Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira. He's had some losses in there, but you know what? I feel like Max is a completely different fighter, and Conor is a little bit of the same, but yet different as well. And regardless, they're not the same people they were in 2013, and I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the outcome of this fight's going to be. and see how they both approach this fight. There's a lot of coverage right now, but you'll get your crowd, bro. That's what's interesting to me. Same guys, completely different points in their lives. I just like that Max does this for his community. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with Max, man. He just seems like a good dude. And I know Conor's a good guy deep down in there somewhere. He's not like Sean Strickland. I just don't see. I feel like he's just a damaged person. And it's unfortunate, you know. Josh Hokett, it seems like he just is dying for attention. He just wants attention. He must not have gotten enough when he was a kid or something. But that's just how he is. But maybe he's a good guy deep down. Colby Covington, apparently everything was just a fake persona. Conor putting out his normal lines, red panty night, saying, baby, we did it. But, you know, it's interesting to see what's going on with these press conferences. This feels more like an old school press conference from back in the day, especially since they only have, you know, the co-main and main events up there. Yeah, I know that about Strickland. I know everything, you know, everything that comes along with it, but, you know, you can't use that as your crutch. You can't use that as your reason for everything when you grow up and get older and have responsibilities and you have to become a decent human being. So that's why they say hurt people, because, you know, you can't help yourself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us had bad upbringings. A lot of, you know, maybe not as bad as his, some worse than his, but people can change and people can make something out of themselves that doesn't have to follow that same code that put them in the harmful position that they're in. So, you know, I mean, I've had to overcome a lot of things in my life too, but, you know, you can only let that control you for so long. Otherwise, it's just going to take you down, man. And I like to see that Conor is out of that, seemingly. He's a religious man now. He just said, all glory to God. That's what reminded me. He's got his kids and his wife sitting right up front. You know, there's a lot different about Conor in the aspect of the man he was and the man he is now. Let's just hope it's not a front. It's not fugazi. Hopefully he's not doing this just to make himself look better. I feel like it. I hope he's being, you know, authentic, because yeah, he's definitely feeling himself still, kind of like, you know, like he did in the past. But, you know, Conor's Conor. He's the same person regardless. Gonna spark up and talk to you, but I'm gonna watch the presser a little later. I gotta wake up super early. Okay, here you go, Antoine.
Smoke weed every day.
But Conor McGregor is a weight bully. Man, I don't know. I don't know that is he a weight bully? Because, I mean, him and Max came from the same weight class. I agree with you there, Maverick. You know, Max wins via TKO. That's what I'd like to see. I want to see a decisive decision or a decisive outcome to the fight. So a TKO for Max would be the best way. Or let him, you know, he can submit him too, but people will make the excuse for Conor that, oh, that's not his game. Max was scared to stand and bang with him. So, but regardless, I don't want to see it go to a decision that Max wins, because everybody will have all the excuses in the world as to why Conor didn't win. Do you think we'll ever have another superstar come close to Conor? Right now, I don't think so, man. I really don't. Especially because of the fact that they do not promote fighters like they ever did for Conor, or like they still do for Conor. Look at the red carpet rollouts that have happened, you know, hypothetically speaking. Just, you know, the promotion that's happened, the amount of attention that this fight has gotten, all of that. At the end of the day, best fighter wins. I think the fact both these guys want it so bad, I'm calling second round KO. Okay. I got Conor by first round TKO. Shit. And Conor tore his ACL in the first fight. Yeah, and I get that, but he still won. He still won. So, I mean, why are we talking about that? And this isn't towards you, Antoine. I've just heard so many people talk about that, but he fucking won. So who cares? He won still with a torn ACL. So I'm just saying what I want to see out of this fight is a decisive outcome. And that's a finish. A finish would be ideal, especially on the feet. Both these guys are great strikers. You know, so Max is almost 35. Yeah, and Conor's almost 38. But I feel like Conor, he's saying he's in his prime now. Apparently he moved into the dorms at the gym, and he lived there for a little while. Conor used takedowns to beat Baby Max. Wrestling, yeah. Well, and everyone says he did that because he hurt his ACL. So, you know, and everyone says, oh, well, you know, Conor beat him by doing that. But that was in 2013. That was a long ass time ago. And while Max has a fight that he was previously in where he got dominated by wrestling and grappling, everyone's chalking that up to, oh, Conor did this before, he can do it again. I don't think that Conor wants to make it that kind of fight, but I don't think that I don't put it past him to get it down to the ground quickly if he gets hit and sees the power of Max Holloway. If the power of Max Holloway is as good as we've seen it in the past. I know he doesn't really have one punch knockout power. He throws volume punching, but you know, he's accurate, he's precise. So is Conor, you know, for the most part. But they're clearing the stage right now. They're going to do the face-offs, and then we can really get down to the actual podcast. But it's going to be interesting to see how they act towards each other. It seems like they're respectful with a little bit of fire behind it. You know what I'm saying? That's how Conor and Max seem. So I don't know that we're going to see too many fireworks, but I'm looking at Conor right now, and he's pacing. He's got that stare. You know, he's got two foes on the other side of him, one that he's fighting on Saturday and one that he wants to fight in the future, Paddy Pimblett. And I don't know that he's got a lot of animosity towards him, but he does. I believe he does. And I think that he's just ready. So he's already doing his thing, walking towards them. He's looking around corners, trying to look past people, trying to make eye contact. I don't know if he's trying to, you know, intimidate, but that's Conor. They keep showing Paddy, so I'm assuming maybe he's trying to see Paddy. But you know, Paddy's just smiling. So I don't think he's got a worry in the world. And he's strolling out with his shorts and his you know, runner jacket on. And BSD comes out looking like Kermit the Frog in his suit. I hate to say that about him, but his face, man, holy shit, BSD. He's a savage though, man. I can't talk too much shit. I think Max will be ready for takedowns. I think so too, but you never know. I don't think Conor's near the wrestler grappler that Charles Oliveira is, but I think you know, if he really wants to spam it and he's gotten better, it might give Max some problems. Here comes Max with what looks like some kind of vest on. Have you ever been a presser? Yes. Oh, shit. Okay. It got heated. Conor threw something and then... Oh, shit. Conor threw something and then pressed his forehead against Max. And then, which is, you know, John Jones DC-esque. Max looks fucking pumped up too, man. Yeah, this was good. This was good. Definitely some heat there. And then he did the Nate Diaz thing where he smacked Max's hand away when he put it up, like, you know, putting the fists up, and yeah, good old Conor. So yeah, that's it. And he was holding the two belts up right now. Max walked out. He was pretty heated, and you could see, you know, the intensity going on there. But yeah, that was interesting, man. And that definitely brings the eyes over and definitely makes you hyped up and ready for this fight. That's the kind of hype and that's the kind of fire we need under and behind a lot of these fights these days. I did see that, Antoine. Izzy Adesanya is leaving City Kickboxing after being there for like 16, 17 plus years, which is kind of a sad thing, man, because him and Eugene Behrman are they've been so close, and you know, they were like family. But we've seen some of their disagreements. We've heard from Izzy about some of their disagreements, and Izzy just feels like, he said it himself, like the definition basically, you know he said like the definition of fucking insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And that's, it's true. That is true. And that's why, you have to keep it fresh, and you gotta, you gotta change things up sometimes. I just listened to Tracy Cortez on the UFC Unfiltered podcast earlier today too, and I didn't even realize that she relocated herself to Mexico City. I don't follow every single thing that all these fighters do, because there's just so much. It would consume every minute of all my days. But except for the slow times, of course. But yeah, I knew that she was training out there, but I didn't know that she relocated and she moved. She was living in Phoenix before, not that long ago. So she's been out there now. Apparently she had dual citizenship already. So yeah, she said it herself too. She just needed a change. She said she loves her camp and her teammates and coaches, but she needed something different. She felt like it was time to change it up. That's the same thing that Izzy's saying. In the position that Izzy's in his career right now, it's the best thing for him to do something different. I think it's a good thing, but it is sad to see, because those CKB guys, they all just seem so tight knit and close, with the exception of Carlos Olberg and Izzy, because apparently they're beefing. I didn't really know a lot about this. Like I said, I don't follow everything that's happening, but I heard about that. So I'm just like, well, sometimes you just gotta, you got the new champion, you got the new breed in, you got the older guy that was a champ before, hasn't been able to get back to the status, been losing fights, the previous star of the team, and now you got the new guy in here, the newly crowned champ. It's one of those kind of situations, it seems like. But regardless, I don't think that's how CKB's treating him. But I think that might be the feeling that Izzy's getting. So he feels like it's time to change it up. And he feels like it's time to, see something different. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of this, because a lot of times guys change up their camps, and it might be rough at first, but it turns out to be a good thing. Or they have to change up again because the camp they went to didn't really work out. Or sometimes it just doesn't work out for them, and they wind up back at the camp that they were at before. You never know. You know what I mean? And I don't think that he's going to just completely outcast his former coaches and teammates. None of that. But I think he's definitely, he's not going to be there doing the camps for his fights. He's not going to be there training on a regular basis. He's going to be wherever he relocates himself to as far as for training. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I hope that it's a good thing for Izzy, because, I'd hate to see him still be on this, just downward spiral when it comes to his fights. And then on top of all of that, feeling the regret and the repercussions of leaving the team that he's known for most of his life. So we'll see. It's, it's interesting to see, these fighters making these moves. And they always say that fighting combat sports, it's a selfish sport. You have to put everything else aside, your family, your friends, your beliefs sometimes, and your comfortability. And that's what I've been hearing a lot from a lot of these fighters lately, in any of the interviews and podcasts that I've listened to from them, is that, they have to be diligent and looking out for themselves. And if, being uncomfortable means getting better, then that's what they need to do. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So hopefully it works out for the best. But yeah, it sucks to see Izzy leave CKB, just because of how good they all were together, and the good chemistry they had and stuff like that. So, but it is what it is, so, things happen for a reason, and they got their reasons for it. Izzy said, made it clear and put it out there plain and simple that they came to an agreement and it was time for him to go. So that's, and it's, there's no animosity or none of that. So that's good. That's good to hear. And hopefully it stays that way, because sometimes it'll be a good departure and then there'll be toxicity thrown in after everyone's away from each other. So let's hope that that's not how that goes. Anyway, let's get into what we're here to talk. Well, actually, we've been talking about it anyway. Conor and Max, and the press conference just happened. I'm going to go back and rewatch it because obviously I was talking through a lot of it. So I don't blame you guys for doing the same. Just to get a handle on more of what was said. A lot of times you can catch the highlights of what really matters through social media posts, clips and stuff like that, which I want to try to start doing myself a little more of for this show. The same thing for me. I can't get complacent. I have to, I have to make it a little uncomfortable for myself sometimes. And, and if that means adding some extra time into getting things done is something that I got to do sometimes. And that's why I came up with, little things to freshen up the stream, different ways to make stuff different and keep things fresh. I know it's very little, but at this time, it's just something quick and easy to do. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do. I just don't have time to do because of how demanding my job is. And then, I don't have time to do anything else at home if I spend all my time doing this. And I, if I made money from it, it would be different, but I don't. So, unfortunately, maybe one day, but I like putting my effort in and hard work into the show so that you guys see something that's good and not just some half-ass bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Even though a lot of the half-ass bullshit I see out there tends to get more views, has more subscribers, but that's how things go sometimes. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to make it good. So let's just keep it on that. And appreciate that, Xavier. And all you guys supporting me is what helps and makes this worth it too. So let's get on the road here and to talking about the fights and breaking them down. And of course, we have UFC 329. I messed this up. Oh, I see why. Okay. So, thank you, Antoine. Appreciate that. So part of making changes, as you can see, my stuff is off a little bit here, so I'm gonna fix that. But part of making changes is covering all aspects of what it can change, and that's a little bit tricky when it comes to the way my setup is. And I've tried to make it as easy as possible, but also sometimes you forget about things. You forget about the way that things work and the way that things are set up. So I really try to make sure I keep everything good, but sometimes things fall through the cracks, and that's what I'm noticing happened here. So I'm just trying to sharpen that up here. Your visuals are on point, brother. You and your personality are great. The algorithm will click. Thank you guys, man. You guys are definitely some uplifters, and I appreciate the hell out of that, because yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel the best. I'm not happy with things, but I just keep working, you know what I'm saying? It's the best I can do with what I got, and I enjoy doing this. It's always been something that I would have loved to have just been on a podcast, and then to have one of my own is a whole different story. So it's crazy that I'm here, get to do this, and I'm happy that I'm able to do all of it. So thank you guys again for the support. You guys make it worth it for sure. So McGregor versus Holloway, the rematch, as we know, because they fought back in 2013, as I was talking about earlier, and Conor won that first fight. So that was Conor's second fight in the UFC. Holloway had fought a few times already at that point, and he just didn't have all the experience, and not everybody is the best right away. Conor came in undefeated, came in with a great record, came in with an aura around him already into the UFC, and he actually is one of the few, which is why I think he's the superstar that he grew to be and still is. He came in and was able to actually bring over the popularity, bring over the excitement, bring over the confidence, bring over the savagery that he had in fighting in Cage Fury, fighting in any other organization he was in, and to be able to come in and show what he can do in the UFC. First fight being a decision fight, if I remember correctly, or maybe that was the second fight. First fight was against Marcus Brimage. Oh yeah, that was a TKO. It was his second fight, which was against Holloway, was the decision. So, but he got injured. Yeah, I know he got injured. And hey, all is good. What's going on? Appreciate you for jumping in, man.
What's happening with you, man?
It's all just a matter of patience. Anytime I ever get impatient, I just tell myself my goal isn't going to happen any other way. Yeah, 100%, Antoine. You definitely got to stay on that track too, man, because if you don't stick to your goals and stick to what you want, you know, that shit just slips away, and it'll go away faster than you were able to, you know, build up what you have already. So yeah, this is an interesting one because of the fact that they fought before, but it was so long ago. And both these guys have had different journeys, but somewhat similar as well. And it's definitely been a long road since they fought in the past. Where do you get your instrumentals from? Some of them are YouTube, like the free YouTube fair use ones. And then some of them are suno.com. I actually put in prompts and made the songs. That's where my intro song, not the music, but the actual lyrics, vocals that happen in the middle, like the beat switch change up in the middle of the intro, that was a Suno song as well. So that's why it's personalized, you know, it says Big E and going rounds in it and stuff like that. Thoughts on what a fighter loses? It was just a bad style matchup. I understand the bad style matchup, but my thing is if you're a mixed martial artist, your style should be everything. But, you know, people master things over others, and some are just better at certain, you know, pieces, depending on their base. There's a lot of guys these days that came up with their base being MMA, which means they're good at a lot of things, maybe not the best at any one particular. And we've seen the downfall of that as well. Did you have a favorite rapper growing up? Yeah, I mean, I was always a big Dre fan. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, those were my big ones for sure. And then Tupac and Biggie, obviously. But yeah, I listened to a lot of West Coast rap. So Tupac and Dre and Snoop, Eazy-E, definitely. I love the positive stream you bring in trying to apply this all to my life. Oh, right on, man. Thanks, Xavier. Those are great words. I'm glad that you take away some of that, because I'm not always the most positive person, but you know, you guys get me thinking, and then I start saying stuff, and you know, it just comes out. So just so you know, it is genuine, because it really is off the top of my head. It's just my reaction to the things that you guys say from my experiences, you know what I'm saying? So do you have a favorite sometimes, yeah, you gotta be at least defensively ready for anything. Yeah. And so, you know, the style is like, so you know, you're a striker that fought a wrestler, grappler. I mean, you should be able to do it all. Just because someone else is better at it than you doesn't mean you shouldn't be ready for it. You're always gonna have a bad style matchup if you're not, you know, if you're the one losing. And if you're the one winning, it was a good style matchup because obviously you won. You know what I mean? And there's some fights where it's even and somebody just comes out the winner, and I understand that as well. But what do you say about that? There's no bad or good style for that, right? So sometimes the style matchup thing throws me for a loop, and I'm not sure how I really feel about it. Sometimes I feel like it's absolute bullshit. Sometimes I feel like it's just an excuse, and sometimes I feel like it's somewhat legit. It's definitely situational. Oh, for sure. Always, life is easier when you good people on your side. I always believe and treat people how I want to be treated. 100%, man, for sure. That's definitely something to keep in mind, because a lot of times I'll feel bad about something I did because I don't want to be treated a certain way that I treated somebody. So sometimes you're a little late, but it's how you recover. You know what I mean? Don't do it again the next time. Be nicer to that person. Apologize. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can overcome that and help yourself feel better. It's a bit of a selfish thing to do to make yourself feel better, but at the same time, if you truly mean it and you're apologizing, or you're making an effort to be better the next time, people might notice that, or it makes them feel better too. So it might be selfish in the end, or it might be selfish in the beginning, but in the end, it's also helping someone else. So, you know, being selfish is not always a bad thing. in certain instances and situations. But yeah, so shit, I'm excited for this fight card, man. There's definitely some great fights on here. Let's get into talking about some of those, and we're gonna start with the main card from the bottom to the top, as we do. And shit, all of these are gonna be off a little bit because I messed up. That's a damn shame, but I'll just fix them as we go, no big deal. So yeah, we got King Green versus Terrence McKinney, and this is definitely a crazy matchup, because when it comes down to it, we got King Green, who is a veteran, definitely crafty, and he oh my god, what did I do here? I completely messed this stuff up. All right, so let's see. I don't even know what I did, to be honest with you. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Anyway, oops. And then I go and do that. Yeah, so King Green, being the veteran that he is, I feel like is definitely the guy to come out and really, you know, try to be the aggressor, but then also be smart somewhat about the way that he fights. And depending on who his opponent is and how they come out fighting him, you know, is going to be what the outcome of the fight is going to be, as far as how he's going to fight and what kind of a fight he gives his opponent. And Terrence McKinney is just a maniac. He comes out just psychotic, ready to go. And that's what makes the big difference when it comes to the two different ways that these fighters fight. You got King Green, 35-17 overall, 16-12. That's a lot of damn fights, especially just in the UFC. Just in the UFC, 16-12. That's insane. 12-6 by KO TKO, 10-3 by sub, 13-6 by decision. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's got double digits in every single category. And you think Bobby has a place in the Hall of Fame with his records? I don't know, man, because he hasn't really even sniffed a championship. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, it's tough. I hate to say that. I feel like he has a lot of, you know, accomplishments in the sport and in the UFC, but there's just a lot to think about. Hall of Fame worthy, I don't know. I don't know, man. He might have some records in there and stuff, but the fact that he hasn't even really come close to really getting that title, you know, most guys, I would at least consider it if they had fought for the title or were an interim champion at one point. Yeah, man, I don't know, I'm torn on it, because I do like Bobby Green. I do like him, but yeah, the custom shorts were sick. Those were on point. I like those a lot with the rag, you know, the bandana look. That was pretty sick. I did like that, especially because they're black too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wasn't specific. It's black, and it's just like a black bandana. It's pretty dope. So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, he's impressive. He's an impressive fighter. We've seen how, you know, with the streak that he's been on. But Terrence McKinney is, would you wear those with an outfit? Shit. I mean, I don't know that I could really pull them off, but I think they'd be sick to own. I definitely wear them around the house, that's for sure. Maybe to work out in or something. I don't know about just putting them together as a fit to like walk around. Maybe I probably would. Who knows? I do like them though. I do like them a lot. But yeah, Terrence McKinney, explosive fighter, never had a fight go to decision. He's 0-0 there. 9-3 by sub, 9-5 by KO TKO, 9-5 in the UFC, 19-8 overall. I mean, it's fast and furious when it comes to Terrence McKinney. King Green would have defeated Khabib. Oof, I don't know about that. Terrence should nickname himself Do or Die. Exactly. And come out to a do or die song. But yeah, that's not a bad call. But yeah, this is definitely the, you know, I mean, I look at Green as more of a somewhat of a gatekeeper type. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't beat him at a certain point in your career, it's hard. It's going to be hard to catapult yourself any higher unless you find a different higher level opponent that you happen to get matched up with down the road. But I think Green is one of those guys that can catapult you to a higher level of competition if you get past him. He's not the highest of high ranking gatekeeper style fighters or type of fighters in the UFC, but he's definitely there. Yeah, and I mean, for me, I'm kind of guessing King Green gets this win too, honestly. Terrence McKinney basically has to come out and do what he's done in the past, so he can definitely do it. But he basically has to come out and get a quick finish, because if Green is able to take him into the second round, it's over for McKinney. We haven't seen good things coming out from McKinney in past the first round. So let's start off with Bobby Green's 3 wins in a row. He beat Lance Gibson Jr. by decision. This was all after that spinning wheel kick knockout that he suffered to Mauricio Hufi, and then he got subbed by Paddy Pimblett right before that. So then now he's on a 3-fight win streak after those 2 losses in a row. He beat Lance Gibson Jr. by decision, Daniel Zellhuber by TKO in the second round, and then beat Jeremy Stephens by submission in the first round. So 1 from every category in his last 3 wins in this 3-fight win streak. Green has taken this one personal. He said he and Terrence were boys. Yeah, he said that he was from that class of fighters where you don't fight your homies, and he said that that's what he considered him. And the second that it got even brought up to McKinney said yes, and called Green right away and told him, hey, I guess we're fighting. And he said, well, shit, if you said yes, I say yes, and I'm gonna whoop your ass. Is basically how he put it. So yeah, he's definitely taking this one a bit personal, which could be a good or a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if he takes it too personal and fights emotionally with anger behind it, it could be a bad outcome for him. If he rushes in, Terrence McKinney's one of those guys that can catch you early and quickly. So if he tries to make it too fast and furious, he's playing right into the hand of Terrence McKinney, and McKinney will take advantage with a flying knee or a kick, a high kick, or fucking dropping you with a punch or something like that. So I think it's going to be an exciting ass first fight of the night, and it's definitely going to set the pace for the rest of the card. So let's hope it's a banger. Let's hope that it's as much as it's been hyped out to be, if you know anything about these 2 fighters, and let's hope that we get a crazy exciting finish from it. Regardless of who wins, I like them both, to be honest with you. Terrence McKinney's story from his background is insane. But King Green also has a crazy backup as well. The 10-7 MMA. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Welcome in. Appreciate you for jumping in. I'm all over Green. I just think he'll be way too clean for McKinney. Not a bad shout there, Dirty. Appreciate you for jumping in as well. I think Green is mature enough to want the win. I think so too. I think he's going to channel that anger and frustration he has with the fact that McKinney took this fight, and he's going to channel it into productive activity in the cage, hopefully. So it's just such a crazy thing to do as a friend, because you forever take a lot of money out of your friends' pockets. Yeah, but I you can both make money from the fight as well. If you guys put on a hell of a fight, you both get fight of the night. Guess what? You both get that 100 grand. You know what I'm saying? So you put on a damn good fight because you know each other well. It's a stalemate, but it was a damn good fight. You get fight of the night. You both get that cash. But unfortunately, taking the fight as a friend, and you beat your friend, yeah, you're definitely taking money out of his pocket. So the possibility of that might be more than somebody wants to overcome, and not take the fight, and if they don't see that as a problem because they see it as an opportunity for themselves, well, that's the part of being selfish I was talking about. And sometimes to make your way into getting a little ways out, a little higher in the standings or something, then yeah, I guess. But end of the day, Bobby accepted 100%, but I don't know that he would have been the first one to step up and say he's going to take the fight like McKinney did. So that was kind of the point. But yeah, Bobby did accept. you know, when somebody crosses the line, sometimes you just got to take that step over as well and join them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't fault him at all. And you know what? I don't fault McKinney at all either. I mean, it does kind of suck that that's the way that went down, but it is what it is. It's a fucking fight game. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously if you have a problem with it, let's get down. And that's what they're going to do. So, and we're all here to sit back, watch it, and fucking enjoy it. So the backstory doesn't matter except for what the outcome happens. You get to think back at the fact that so-and-so had a problem and so-and-so got knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So we all benefit from it. And if you get too wrapped up in the drama of the MMA fighters, like if it was yourself, then sometimes it takes a toll on you for watching the fights and enjoying them. So sometimes you just got to let it go and be like, damn, that sucks, but let's watch this motherfucker fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, business is business. Should be a banger for us. 100%. That's what I'm looking for. And if that's you know, if that's insensitive by any means, then I apologize. But you know, I'm looking for a good fight, and I feel like both these guys can give it to us. So let's move on to the next fight, which is Brandon Royval versus Lonnie Kavanaugh. I think McKinney's mows through bombs. I don't consider Green that sort of bum to be mowed down by him. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, McKinney's reckless, and I think King Green is definitely a vet, and he's experienced enough to understand that kind of a fighting style. And if he doesn't let the emotions if he doesn't let the emotions get the best of him, then you know, I think he's gonna be smart about it. Could you ever do something like that, Biggie? I don't think I'd be the initiator, but I don't think I would take too much offense if someone wanted, you know, said, hey, I'd stand my ground and be like, you know what, I'd prefer to have a different fight. But if somebody accepted it before me, I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, if he wants to fight, I'll be like, hey, I didn't want to fight you, bro, but if you want to fight and you think we can make it a good one, then let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be personal, but they you know, King Green stood by a code, and if you want to uphold that, then I understand it. I think like if you and one of your day ones had a fight in the UFC, would you sign the contract? Like I said, I don't know that I'd be the first one to do it, but would I do it in the end? Depends on the situation. It's situational 100%. Oops, I'm still trying to fix things as I go because I fucked them up. But no big deal. You won't even notice the difference probably. But anyway, yeah, you know, I wouldn't initiate it. We'll just say that. But I'm not fully against it. You know, if me and one of my friends were fighters and we had to fight each other, we're both in the business of making money, and we do it by fighting. You know what I'm saying? So if we have to fight each other, then it is what it is. They're just cool. They're not like Eljo and Marab. See, and that's another point too. But like I said, Bobby Green had a code, and he felt like that code got violated, so he accepted the fight, and now they're gonna hash it out, and it should be to our enjoyment. I'm pretty sure. So moving on, we got Brandon Royval versus Lonnie Kavanaugh, Loner Kavanaugh, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I keep hearing Lonnie, so I feel like I'll just go with that. It doesn't make sense, but it's easier. So anyway, I feel like this should be a decent fight as well. But Brandon Royval, you know, he's got a pretty tough strength of schedule as far as who he's fought in the past. He's 17-9 overall, 7-5 in the UFC, 4-2 by KO TKO. Is that 9-1 or 5-1? Man, it's 9-1. Sometimes these things are a little bit too small, and I am a bit older, so I'm surprised my eyes haven't gone by now. But luckily, they've held up for the most part. So sometimes I have issues though. But 4-6 by decision. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, which is tough. And Kavanaugh's coming off a win. Never been subbed, never lost a fight by decision, but he's got 5 wins there, 1 win by sub and 4-1 by KO TKO. He's 3-1 in the UFC and 10-1 overall. Who do you got winning the main event and how? I'm getting to that. But I'll tell you that I'm rooting for Max Holloway. So I can give you that. How? I would feel like more than anything, it's going to probably be by TKO. But I'll break it all down when I get to it. We're at the second fight of the night on the main card right now. And yeah, Lonnie Kavanaugh versus Brandon Royval. Like I said, I think Royval has a tougher, strength of schedule than Loner does, but Kavanaugh's only been in the UFC for 4 fights. So Royval's coming off a loss to Manel Kape by TKO in the first round. He lost to Joshua Van by decision as well, but they got fight of the night for that one. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak with wins over former champ Brandon Moreno and Tatsuro Taira, where he also got a fight of the night bonus versus Tatsuro Taira. So he's got a win and a loss with fight of the night bonuses. He's got other bonuses in there as well. And he lost to Pantoja when he tried to fight him for the title, which is unfortunate for him. And that was the second time he had lost to Pantoja. He lost to Brandon Moreno in the past, but he made up for that by getting the win over him further down the road. So yeah, he's fought former champions, current champions, and everything in between. And so I feel like he's had a pretty tough schedule for fights, and he's 2-2 in his last 4. And we got Lonnie Kavanaugh, who is 10-1 overall and only has 4 fights in the UFC right now. His only loss coming off that Charles Johnson fight that he lost by TKO in the second round. But his last win his last fight was a win over Brandon Moreno, former champ as well, where he got a performance of the night bonus with his unanimous decision win over Brandon Moreno. So yeah, he's 3-1 in the UFC. His first 2 fights were both won by decision, unanimous decisions. He's got all of his wins are by unanimous decision, and his 1 loss is by TKO. So I can see the possibility of Brandon Royval being able to TKO Lonnie Kavanaugh, especially since that's really the only way that he's lost. And if it goes to decision, that could be a difficult one for Royval, but he's been there before, and I don't see how he couldn't give him a good fight at least. So we'll see if Kavanaugh can actually get a finish here for his first finish in the UFC, or if he gets a win by decision again for the 4th time in the UFC. And Royval will be looking to drop that 2-fight losing streak that he's on and be able to turn it around and get back in that win column and not gather the 3rd loss in a row, even though he has a fight of the night bonus in one of those losses. And his last loss was by TKO as well. So I mean, it's kind of a little bit even here. I feel like as far as the odds go, it does seem like Kavanaugh is the favorite, -235, while Royval is a +185 underdog according to Tapology. So I mean, it's still pretty close. I mean, yeah, Kavanaugh's a bit more of a favorite, but not by much. So Royval has a chance. I'm kind of sticking with the little more of a veteran in Royval, and I think that's my pick for this fight. But I think Kavanaugh's dangerous, but he's only been to decision, and I think Royval will put the pressure on him and really try to make it a tough one, even if he does get to decision. And I think Royval's hungry to get out of that losing column, so I'm pretty much probably picking Royval for this one. Next up, we got Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. The Sandman, 34 years old, 19-6 overall, 11-5 in the UFC, 9-0 by KO TKO, 3-1 by sub, and 7-5 by decision. He's coming off a loss. Never been stopped on the feet though. That's impressive. Out of all the fights that he's had, 8-0. I think I said 9-0. It's 8-0. But either way, only 1 loss by submission. Most of his losses come by decision. So that's something he's going to be looking for, putting pressure on Mario Bautista and hopefully getting him to make some mistakes in there so he could take advantage and finish this one before it gets to the end. But Bautista's going to be looking to play his game and extend his win streak to 2, because he is coming off a win. 17-3 overall, 11-3 in the UFC, 3-1 by KO TKO, 7-1 by sub, 7-1 by decision. He has a loss in every column there, but it's only 1 for all of them, so that's impressive as well. Less losses than Sandhagen, but Sandhagen is definitely very skilled, and I think this is going to be a tough one for Bautista. I saw people pointing out that, you know, Sandhagen got dropped by Merab, and he had issues with some of the wrestling when it came to one of his other fights. But I think the fact that Sandhagen fought Bautista back in the day, and he actually submitted him in the first round, if I remember correctly. Yeah, submission in the first round by armbar back in 2019. So this is a card with some rematches. I mean, this is only the second one. We know that the main card is a rematch as well, but it does have some rematches in it. So Corey's looking, you know, to not take for granted that he's beaten Bautista before, and decisively, because he got that submission and got the win by finish. So you know, that could be something that, you know, makes Sandhagen kind of take it, you know, not take it easy, but take it lightly that he's fighting Bautista. But Bautista's definitely gotten better since 2019. And on top of all that, you think Corey could be competitive with Piotr again? Yeah, I think he could. I think Corey tends to have bad nights, and those bad nights come at the worst time. That's kind of how I see Corey. Can he ever overcome that? I don't know. But I think he definitely has the ability to do it. So I don't put it past the fact that we'll see him, you know, fighting for a title again at some point, or at least getting to the, you know, higher contention. But Bautista's coming off a win to Vinicius Oliveira, Lock Dog, and he got the performance of the night bonus with a second round submission over him. He lost before that to Umar Nurmagomedov and lost to Corey. Those are and lost to Trevin Jones by TKO in the second round. But, you know, most of his losses are to big names. He beat Patchy Mix, he beat Jose Aldo, even though everybody hated him for that. He beat Ricky Simone, Damone Blackshear. I mean, Corey's definitely had his harder, you know, the strength of schedules, you know, in the favor of Sandhagen. But Bautista's fought some, you know, high level competition as well, of which he's lost to and won to. I wanted Conor to chin Max on stage right there. Damn, Junior. I don't know, man. I'm glad he didn't, because, you know, we want to see how the fight happens tomorrow, but that would have definitely added some fucking craziness to everything. But yeah, Conor has that intensity back, man, and you don't actually see Max get that fucking fired up most of the time. He's pretty respectful most of the time and laid back and chill. But yeah, Merab almost KO'd him in their fight. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. So, you know, people keep bringing that up, and you know, with Bautista, he's got some hands. You know, we saw him, you know, beat up Patchy Mix, but you know, also, like, he doesn't put guys away a lot. So, and on top of that, you know, is Sandhagen gonna be the guy that's gonna allow that? I don't know that he will. I don't know that he will, and I think Bautista is definitely dangerous, but I think Sandhagen's just on a different level, unfortunately, for Bautista. He's, you know, 9-1 in his last 10 fights. Bautista is, and you know, he's a well-rounded pressure fighter. He's got good boxing, strong wrestling, and he's, you know, good with the top control. A decent amount of significant strikes landed per minute, and he, you know, he believes that he's gonna get the best of Sandhagen in this one. So I think Sandhagen's just gonna need to kind of keep the range, and, you know, he's gonna have to be, you know, find a way to catch Bautista at the end of his jabs and kicks, and, you know, pick him apart from the outside is really gonna be what Sandhagen's gonna need to do to kind of keep this, you know, keep this from going south for him. And he likes to throw those flying knees almost every single fight you see one of them. But oh shit, what'd you think of that, Tyler? We watched it here in the beginning of the show, but, you know, I was kind of back and forth on it. It seemed pretty good though. Mario's gonna walk Corey down. Mario made Umar work. Corey let Umar work easily. Yeah, Corey suffers from analysis paralysis. Yeah, I get that. It was face-off was good though. Yeah, the face-off was definitely good. I feel like there was you know, there was portions of Conor being Conor again. But yeah, some of, I mean, I would have thought it would have been a little more entertaining, but again, I didn't pay attention to the whole thing. The face-off was damn good though, for sure. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think you know, a little bit of that, Junior, I think is kind of some MMA math type shit. Not that I blame you for thinking that way. I just think that, you know, it's a difference of who they're fighting as well. Umar is a different type of dude, and I think with Corey and Mario being different types of fighters, you know, I think Umar is just better, a better matchup for Corey. I mean, Corey is a better matchup for Umar than Bautista was. Sometimes the guys that you wouldn't think do the best against Little Evil Max, yeah, that shit was funny. Robot McGregor. Yeah, I think he's just calmed down a little bit. What up, Patrick? The press was fun, gonna be exciting. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I gotta go back and watch it because there's, you know, parts of it that I missed because of the fact that I was, you know, talking on here. But I definitely gonna go back and watch. I was entertained for, you know, bits and pieces there, and then that face off was sick though, for sure. Conor's definitely, you know, a little bit of the old Conor showing up there, so that was good. That's a good sign. It means that, you know, I don't think Max is just gonna run through him. I feel like with Conor having a little bit of that fire back, it's gonna benefit him. But as far as this fight goes, I think Corey's gonna edge it out. Whether he gets a finish or not, I don't know, but I feel like he's definitely gonna be the guy to be able to take over here. But Bautista's a beast, and I don't think it's gonna be easy for Corey. So yeah, I just think that Bautista's, he's gonna be dangerous if he closes the distance and gets in on Corey. But if Corey can keep him at bay, yeah, I don't know that Bautista's gonna be able to do much with that. So we'll see. I feel like this is a good fight. Thoughts on Conor versus Floyd 2 and Zuffa? Is that confirmed? I mean, I heard little bits of pieces of rumors of that, but I saw some stuff about it today, but I didn't get a chance to really dig deep into that one. Abdul Razak Al Hassan lost all composure after hurting Almeida and handing the Glory champ a free KO. Wow, you just pulled that out of nowhere, huh, Junior? I'm not sure where to go with that one, but yeah, so I'm thinking, I'm leaning to Sandhagen on this one for sure. So let's move on. We got BSD versus Paddy Pimblett in the co-main event. And yeah, with this one, it's like we've seen BSD be just a beast, right? But we've seen Paddy do well. He just didn't look good in that fight against Justin. Like, he just didn't have anything for him. And Justin is who he is. He's now the champ. You know, he beat the seemingly unbeatable Ilya Topuria. Conor's not fighting Mayweather on Zuffa. But it's fan speculation. Yeah, I mean, I saw an interview where it talked about, you know, a possible rematch with Floyd. I don't know how that could happen in Zuffa, for one, but for two, even if it does happen, you know, it's not going to be seen the same way it was seen in the past. I don't think, just because we've had it happen so much, you know. It's like, just all the MMA fighters, Dana and Conor said yes to it in the presser. Okay, see, that must have been a part I missed. They're speculating since Zuffa been signing a lot of big names. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson just signed, which is